Speaking of football people, I mean, there's been obviously no football operations boss as a result of the delay in the CEO, and there's mass confusion around the tackling issue and the sling tackle issue. So much so that 3 senior people today have all spoken about their own confusion about it.
Maybe the rule interpretation has on what's considered prior opportunity and fending and standing up in the tackle may need to change, because ultimately players are only taking them to the ground to try and retard them with the ball. You're protecting their head and you can't dump, use all your force. Well, maybe you just need a bit more liberal interpretation for the tackler as well.
When you're in that motion of twisting and turning, it's pretty hard to stop. So, yeah, it's probably maybe something we need to get coached about, how to tackle and to release.
When you're not exactly sure on what's allowed and what's not allowed, there's been a lot of cases in the last few weeks of players getting done for similar incidents, so it'd be great to get a little bit of clarification. And I think as the cases are going, we're sort of figuring out what's fair, what's not fair, and what's being permitted, but a little bit of clarification would be awesome.
Ross Lyon, Dion Prestia and Andy McGrath there. I mean, that's the whole gamut, effectively.
We're around 6, mate.
We're around 6, and these are the 5 tackles there that have, or 6 tackles that have gone through the system here with the sling tackle nature. This was the most blatant of them, and that's the Nathan Broad one of 4 weeks, and there's no disputing any of these. These are the tackles you're about to see that have had match sanctions attached to them. We've got Will Day there getting 2 weeks on Brad Close. Now, some people, I think some people do say he was stiff getting 2 and not the 1. This is Gary Rowan on Chunkwith Jarth. 1 week suspension there for Gary Rowan. He might have been lucky, lined up on the same day as Will Day. We'll move on to one of Jimmy's players there in Tom Green, taking down Josh Ward on the weekend and again copping a week, not taking the tribunal. Zach Merritt took this to the tribunal, still was left with a week on his tackle on Tom Sparrow there. And also the Adams one here, Taylor Adams, who tried to mitigate his own involvement in this by blaming other teammates in what happened to Seb Ross there. The tribunal threw that claim out and left his statement at 1 week. Guys, I don't have an issue with any of those issues getting the 1 week. We will just have a look before I get your views on this, what was let go with an incident involving Clayton Oliver, though.
Hey, Damo, he gets lucky here, Oliver. So this is worth 2 weeks. You watch it, though, Ed. He doesn't actually hit his head. So we watch it one more time. He just gets lucky because Parker lands on his arm, doesn't hit his head. So that's the fine line.
And he released him a bit on that second shot.
But to me, I believe it's like the bump now. Yeah. If you try and execute a bump, and you try and execute a tackle, and you either hit them in the head with a bump or you hit them and sling them with a tackle and they hit them in the head, you're gone.
What needs to happen? Because that is changing the game. And if we have to do that, then we have to do it. We've got to tell people, though. But what do you think needs to happen? Because one of the things we've always been concerned about is the player who gets the ball has to have a chance to get rid of it, OK? Get the ball rather than people dwelling. That's where we were 2 years ago. But is it the umpires need to blow the whistle?
Yeah, and that's where I'm going to get to, Ed. Yeah, I agree with Ross Lyon. It's incredibly difficult when someone's fighting and standing up in the tackle. About 2 or 3 of those examples. If you have a look at the player with the ball, he actually gets himself into a strong position. He plants his feet on the ground. And if you're behind that player, it becomes a battle of strength. And all you can do is pull them to the ground. And you don't want them to get out the handball and create a goal or actually kick a goal themselves. So we have this wrestle go on where it's a battle of strength. The umpire blows the whistle a bit quicker. We might have some ball ups as well, but the issue I've got as well with it is still got to make sure it's a reportable offence. And I think we all agree we want to get that out. But where we're getting confusion with Will Day compared to Gary Rowan is this ability to potential to cause more damage. Now, there's potential to cause damage in every contest. So it becomes really subjective, where it used to be impact was just off the medical report. Did the player play on? Did he play out? But now we've got this subjective nature of, he could have got hurt, and that's what ended up happening with the Clayton Oliver one. Got off. Well, he didn't quite land on his head. He's fined, but yet Will Day gets 2 weeks. So I think that's where the confusion's coming in.
Now, if Brendan Gale was the head of football, not in the role that it's been, but an exalted CEO of football, planning all the things you need to do in football, because that's the game, that is the basic job that we do, and he went out as a lawyer, a former champion player, as a respected and revered administrator, I think you'd cut through a bit of this trouble.
If you've got 2 players, if you're sitting at home and you're the AFL and you've just seen Andrew McGrath and Dion Prestia say, I don't know, you would be there tomorrow and saying, or on the link up to every head of football, every coach, You know what the coaches should be doing? Coaching it from tomorrow. Dion said we haven't been coached.
But no one knows the rule, though. If they came out and said, you now can no longer pull somebody to the ground, you go, OK, I get
teach
it.
a different
But
technique.
to your points, I think everybody said it, like Jamie Elliott got tackled at one stage and he bunged his shoulder, had to leave the ground. Another 2 inches, he hits his head, and the bloke who tackled him gets 2 to 4. I mean, it's that much in it. I mean, they're not sophisticated, as you said all the time. Head in, tackle, in the spur of the moment, fighting somebody who's maybe running into a goal. If you don't tackle him properly, they want to.
Whoever does